Hello, everybody. Welcome to Relics of Ore, Season 3, Episode number 22? 22.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are awesome getting up that high. So, I am Washed. I'm going to be leading this circus of tomfoolery this evening. And I'm going to be joined by the regular co hosts, Kate. How you doing, Kate?
I'm doing good.
Good? Yeah. And Evie has pulled himself away long enough from Pokemon XY to join us as well. Are you enjoying the game?
Uh, which game?
Yes.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Play all the games. Great. So we have a kind of a cool show tonight because I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love the Guild Wars 2 Halloween event.
Halloween.
So Halloween hit today. Yay! Okay. Everyone is super excited.
I was like,
I'm excited. Where do I start?
I know it is really kind of one of those like where do you start? Because there's really this has been a fantastic patch.
Mhm.
I mean, we'll obviously talk a little bit about that. I mean, the big thing right now is, of course, the return of Mad King Thorn and his son, the Bloody Prince.
And the arrival of the Bloody Prince.
Yeah.
Can I just point out that is an amazing character?
Oh my gosh, it is so good.
The dialogue between him and Mad King Thorn in the labyrinth.
On a
is
scale
amazing.
of like personal story dialogue to the conversations between Mad King Thorn and Palawa Joko, how awesome is it?
Palawa Joko.
Flower Joko.
Yes! I'm so excited.
Have you not gone and done it yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I've only just popped in to see what was in the gem store, and I haven't done anything else, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if nothing else, just go hang out in the labyrinth for like an hour or two, and the dialogue between them is. I mean, you get some great lore stuff in there because Thorn kind of talks a little bit about who his son is and why they
His
might
wives.
hate each other. Yeah, his wives. I especially like the conversation about the nanny that his son ended up killing, and Thorn says, I was proud of you for that," and and Bloody Prince goes, "Really? No, I've always been disappointed in you."
You're a major disappointment.
So definitely go check that out because there is some fan freaking tastic dialogue in there. I mean, it's just great Halloween wit.
And it extends to the not personal living story instance.
Yeah, that's definitely. Have Evie? Did you get a chance to run that yet?
Yes, I actually have. I did it by myself though because I wanted to see it as soon as possible, and I was so confused when I
Right.
was running it the first time, and it was just like throw everything that's available at him, and I was just like, what am I supposed to throw?
Right.
And then I finally noticed like the toilet paper and stuff on the ground like 20 minutes later. I was just like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up pugging it with another random, and I did the same thing. I'm like, okay, so it says to throw everything you've got. I'm like, well, okay, so I'm casting spells and bringing
That's what I
fire,
thought too.
earth, and whatever. And I'm like, well, nothing. He's immune. What's going on? Oh, there's stuff on the ground. Throw that
And then
at
once you
him.
start chucking candy
So-
corn at him, his dialogue is amazing.
Wait, so he's immune to fire, but weak
He's immune to
against
everything.
toilet paper?
Yeah, he's immune to everything, but then scattered around the ground is like bone and spider webs and candy corn, and you got to pick up
Well,
crap and throw it at him.
Nice.
when you do picking up all that stuff, it actually doesn't do anything to him. It's just like part of figuring out
Yeah.
what can hurt him. And then finally, she's like, you know what? There's candy corn here. Chuck that at him.
Yeah.
And that's finally what works.
Yeah, but even then, it only knocks him down, and he starts getting super pissed. And he starts. Oh my gosh, he starts going off and off and off about
The next person that throws candy corn at me is gonna be put in that box.
Yeah. So all kinds of great box references, and ArenaNet has definitely, I think, outdone themselves again with the wonderful Halloween festivities. Yeah. But we do have some new stuff on the gem store too. Have you guys? I didn't get a chance to check those out. Kate, you did though.
Yeah, I popped in and looked real quick. They have a mini container which has if you're from it, like if we're around last year, if we've been in game this year this far, they have little kids running around in Halloween costumes. I think there's a ghost quaggan, a char dressed up like Assassin's Creed, and then there's one other one I can't remember. Those are now minis in this box. They're kind of adorable. I don't even like minis, but I might
pirate.
Oh man,
acquire these.
I may have to buy some gems then. Dang it. Like I wanted that Quaggan from last year, the one in the ghost suit, but yeah,
He's adorable.
If
awesome.
if the pirate quaggan is a mini, I might have to go sell my soul.
I loved on the when they released, you know how they do their press releases for, oh, new stuff on the gem store, come check it out.
Yeah.
There was fine print at the bottom of the page for the mini chest that says does not contain actual children. I really appreciated that. Whoever put that in there, I just want to thank you. It's brilliant.
That's good to know. Yeah, we don't want to support that kind of stuff.
Also on the gem store, and I forget, was it on the gem store or out of Black Lion Chess? I think it was on the gem store. They have new Halloween weapons. There's a great sword shaped like a bat that oozes bats, and it's called whatever. Yeah, it just bats everywhere. I forget what it's called, but it's the word for fear of bats. It's one of those phobia things. Yeah, phobia things. There's a longbow spider now.
Nice.
There's a what else was there? The Bloody Prince's staff. One-handed silly scimitar, which is actually what it's called. It's called the silly scimitar. It's like a
rubber scimitar. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Oh, and there's a really sweet
shield.
The shield, yeah. It's a like a tombstone.
Ooh.
And it has glowing writing and inscriptions on it, and then when you draw it, it has like a flaming face on it. I don't know how to describe it. It actually looks a lot like our guild logo. Like it looks like a char with like the horns.
Nice.
Kind of.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know how to explain
working on trying to get a high-res picture of it so I can translate the text on it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I wonder what that, maybe it's the Mad King's gravestone or something.
I hope it's like I hope it's one of the poems that they had, or like the one they had last year for the trailer. This year's was mysterious, but last year's was awesome, the trailer.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I like that. I'm glad to see that they're putting more of those things on the gem store. But, along with that, we do have, they offered this year the ability for us to convert our candy corn into something a little more useful. So they have a Bloody Prince mini and the 20 slot Halloween pail back piece that you can get. But is it just me, or are the costs on these like insanely ridiculous?
It's kind of hard to judge.
So let's just put it in context, I guess. So the mini prince is 20 candy corn cobs.
Yeah.
Which is 20,000 candy corn.
Yeah.
And the pail is 15 candy corn cobs, which is 15,000 candy corn.
I have a feeling that the end dungeon is going to give a lot of candy corn.
I sincerely hope so. Sorry, go ahead, Kate. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I wouldn't bother pricing it now, because it's going to change before the end. There's going to be, last year we were overflowing with candy corn so much that it
was down to a copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terribly not expensive. So I think that'll go a long way to solving this year's thing. But also, this is very much akin to the back pieces that they were selling for Zytaffy at Dragon Bash, where the Jor Breakers, whatever they were, same thing as the candy corn cobs. They were 1,000 Zytaffy. The candy corn cobs are 1,000 candy corn, and you could get those wings for 10 gold by the end of the event.
Wow.
You didn't have to do anything. So if those are things you want, I would keep an eye on them definitely, but don't go for them right away. They're going to drop in price.
Yeah, I think right now when I logged off a couple hours ago, it was like 74 cents a candy corn. So people are definitely trying to jack the market right now. but it's interesting too because I farmed the labyrinth for about an hour or so, and I only came away with about 175 candy corn. So they don't seem to be dropping in quite as much abundance as they were last year, and maybe it's just going to ramp up as we go into the the Mad King's dungeon or whatever else they have planned. But right now it's going to be it's a long way to get to even the pale.
Yeah. Since I haven't really checked it out yet, are the nodes all back in?
Yes.
The candy
Yes.
corn nodes?
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, there are candy corn nodes, and that may be part of why they're giving us a personalized candy corn node to kind of maybe help speed that along as well.
Ah, that would be,
Or
yeah.
let people get it when what's it called? The event's actually over. Because for all we know, the candy corn node will give you a corn cob each
Right.
day.
That would be nice. That wouldn't be too bad because then it would only be 15 days to get a 20 slot.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's fun though. I mean, it's definitely it's a good. I think it's high enough for people to work towards that they're not going to just be immediately completing it today unless they're willing to drop massive amounts of gold on it.
Well,
So.
I could have
Yeah.
completed it today if I wanted to because I have so much candy corn in my bank.
Yeah,
How much candy corn are you hoarding?
I had 2 bank tabs full of it
Why?
that's a lot of candy corn.
because I knew it was going to be expensive. I've made like 100 something gold today.
Wow.
I need
Good
to
for you,
send you all
man.
my stuff and you need to invest my loot
The candy corn markets.
wisely. Yeah. I don't make any money. I don't know how to invest things.
It'll disappear by the end of the week.
Yeah, no, it'll be gone quick, I'm sure. And as more people are out there, farming the events and stuff, we'll see more and more of it. So it'll
Oh,
probably.
I was
be
talking
down,
about my money.
Oh, your money? Oh, yeah. Your money will definitely be gone by the end of the week. Because one of those rare skins or something is going to pop on the auction house. You just have to have it.
Mhm.
Well, I was thinking more like tier 3.
Oh, there you go. Well, anything else about Halloween that we want to talk about specifically?
The clock tower.
Okay. So were you able to complete it? Did the muscle memory kick in?
I got 2 jumps away from completing it in like 4 tries before I had to get up. But can I just point out the quality of life fixes that they did
Yes.
for the
Wow.
clock tower?
They're
The-
wonderful.
The
It's
the
really
fact that Char cannot get in my way right now
Dang
is
it.
amazing. And they fixed
Yeah.
the camera.
The camera was
actually
actually
do it.
throwing me off today when I was running it.
Oh no.
Really?
Personally, that was just me though.
I do have to say I thought it was a really clever fix. They didn't just throw you in a single player instance. They kept you in the multiplayer instance,
Yep.
but they turned all of your fellow players into ghosts. They're just think the orbs that float around in South Sun Cove, or not in South Sun Cove, South Sun
they're-
Survival.
Yeah, they're
when
basically
you
little
die.
wisps.
Yeah, they're there, but they don't get in the way, which is wonderful. I love it. Yes, good fix.
Well, have you noticed too though that you're able to it basically utilizes the PvP system.
Mhm.
So you're also only in a 5-man group at a time. So you're not running with 20 other people. So that does help too.
Yeah.
Which I've noticed helps a lot with lag.
Yeah.
For like some people that had problems with it last year with the lag are saying that they can actually do it this year because they can actually play it.
Yeah, I saw a couple people in chat that were saying the same thing, that they weren't able to complete it last year just because of lag. But this year they've been at least able to get further into the puzzle. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, however, I am disappointed. They patched my favorite glitch ever.
What
So-
glitch?
So it used to be, last year, because it was a PvE environment, you could use all of your weapon skills and everything.
Mhm.
So what you could do in the waiting area was give yourself swiftness, and you could actually jump outside of the instance area, and you could see all the clock tower, everything from underneath, like if you were to glitch under the world. Yeah, they
I
fixed
did
it.
not know of this.
I missed that.
Oh,
I'm
it was so
disappointed in
much fun.
myself.
It was a good insight into some of the interesting ways that they design the instances and stuff, because a lot of trick camera angles and stuff that you think is moving actually isn't. Something else is moving. So YouTube it if you haven't seen it. It's pretty funny. But definitely fun. I did complete it once. I almost completed it 2 other times, and then I failed on the final jump. So I don't know if I lagged or something.
Did they? The one thing that really grounded my gears last year, doing it over and over again. Can you skip that cutscene now?
Nope.
But because of the way they've done it, you can actually run it a lot faster, because you're only waiting for 5 people to complete it, as opposed to the 20 or however many it was last year. So I found that I was getting a lot more runs in per cycle than last year.
So and the cutscene serves more as a ready, set, go like thing now more than anything else.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Well, there were also in this some interest in this patch, some interesting profession changes. So I guess we can jump off by the fact that Kate is going to rage quit and is leaving the game forever. So it was nice having you.
Hi, everyone.
So what happened to the thief?
What didn't happen to the thief?
I don't know. Evie, do you want to take this before
I'm sorry. I meant to ask Evie. Yeah. My fault.
Okay. Can I just point out that everyone pretty much got a buff except for the thief? Which I can understand, because, you know, there's things that need to be done. But at the same point, it's just like, can you please just do a PvE PvP split? Please. I was having so much fun stealing all those wonderful boons in PvE, because I could steal Fury and Protection, and now I'm just going to be taking Fury.
Yeah.
And it's just like... Also, I know that it's not in the patch notes, so it was never really a guaranteed thing, but the developer livestream was just like, oh hey, blinding powder or black powder shot's going to be a blast finisher now, and I was so excited for that yesterday, and it wasn't in the patch notes, and I was just like,
Aww.
Wait,
I can understand.
It's not?
It's not.
Because they changed blinding powder is a blast finisher now, but not the one on the pistol.
Yeah. It's just like...
Well, that's sad.
Other than that, they buffed Venom Aura Share, which, I mean, that's very niche.
What?
It's good for like roaming teams in Wolfie World. It doesn't really see competitive tournament play. It's not really used in PvE because it's not max damage. So
what was the range on it before? Do you know?
Like 240, not even.
Oh, that's so small.
You basically had to be a melee.
Yeah, because 130 is standard for melee attacks. And now it's 360. That'll make it a lot better, but it's still really small. You have to get everyone stacked up on top of you. I don't know. I was thinking about doing a Venom share on one of my 14 thieves, according to Shungaku. But I have 2. I leveled my one up, which is my main, and I decided to level another one just because I love it. But apparently I have 14.
And
you know.
And of course, with the buff to Venom Share, they nerfed Basilisk Venom, where it is now removable with stun breakers. So
I hope that's across the board, because that's the same paralyze used by stone touches in TA, and that one's really annoying because that's the only like stun I couldn't cleanse in PvE. So I hope that's across the board, but it is kind of a little bit annoying that they did that to thieves, because that was our thing, man. We had a thing that nobody else could do, and now we don't have a thing.
And it's just like, well, now people aren't going to use it in PvP because it has a cast time and it can be removed. So there's a tell. So it's just like, oh, hey, I'm going to stun you. Pooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you broke it. That's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, was the steel overpowered when it stole more than one boon in PvE? I mean, honestly, I don't.
In
Not
PvE,
really.
it was perfect. When they with the two, it was like it felt really good. I felt as a thief on par with other classes when I was
The
able to do
first
that.
iteration of it was perfect with like the correct initiative cost, the
Hmm.
two boons, but Sword Dagger was really powerful in tournament play, and it still kind of is. So they kept nerfing it, and they didn't do a PvP or a PvP, a PvE split.
Hmm.
And I mean, this is an example yet again of how PvP hurts the thief in PvE. Oh, someone in chat, thank you. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. The thief is the Mesmer of Guild Wars 2. Until they do a hard PvP PvE split,
Yeah,
it's not going to be as good as everything else in PvE. It's going to be kind of niche as far as, oh, it's really amazing in this spot.
Yep. It's really
It's just
amazing
like,
for hiding and running away.
well, I mean, thieves have the highest single target damage in the game, but you have to be able to backstab spam.
Hmm.
And there's not, I mean, how do I put this? The opportunity to do that in most fights is kind of not there. And shortbow is the highest AoE damage weapon in the game, but again, you have to be in melee for it. So it's just like, eh.
It's just
Because the
spamming
travel time
cluster
is
bomb.
cluster bomb. Hmm.
Oh, I have a thing. I didn't put this in the show notes. The ground targeting changes are in, and shortbow has now become my favorite weapon in the game. Not that it wasn't before. I've always used shortbow in my thief, but oh, it's so much better now with the fast casting changes.
is it?
Yeah, it halved my clicks. I tried out my NG2 real quick, um, and the grenade kit also feels a whole lot better. So
I just kind of wish they left or included casted target with
mhm.
Yeah, that would
AoE
have been
stick.
nice. Yeah, I mean,
I can
give us the
understand why they
option.
didn't,
Yeah.
but it still would have been nice, particularly for grenades.
I like that they left
Yep.
in all the options. There's three different options for how you want to do it now, so that's great. If they added a fourth, it would be perfect, but we'll get there.
Maybe eventually.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other than
Um,
that, with the thief,
yeah.
the fixed meld with shadows trait, so it actually increases stealth. So all
Was it
those
not
people
before?
yelling about it was wonky before. Now
No.
it's actually work. Well, they say it's working. We'll see if
Testing needs to be done.
Didn't they fix? Was it Hidden Killer? Is that the one that gives you might? Didn't they fix that one too?
no, hitting killer is 100% crit when you're in stealth, and they fixed that a
All
lot.
right. Cool. Yeah, there was a lot of like across the board, not just with Thief. There's a lot of like, here's these traits that are now working. Good job. Yay. No, it's great.
Yeah.
The quality of life with this patch is phenomenal.
Yeah, the biggest culprit for that would probably have to be the necromancers, which I will let someone else talk about.
Well, before we jump into that, I mean, just Live Spartan brought up a good point. Do you guys like the floaters? The new floater changes in the combat?
Yes.
Yes,
I
no,
actually
maybe?
haven't really had a chance to use them yet. I forgot about them when I was playing my Thief, then I switched to my Guardian because there's a Scarlet Invasion. And I went, oh, I need to get levels quick, and it didn't. I didn't notice it with the burning on my Guardian. Um, is it
I
more
don't even
obvious when
play
you have like multiple conditions?
It's a lot
Yes.
more obvious when you have multiple conditions. I don't even play condition specs, but I just hopped on my Necro today just to see like, oh hey, I want to look at the new Life Force bar, my level 20 Necro, why not? And like seeing all the different conditions was just like that is so satisfying.
Yeah. It's nice to see that differentiation so that you know, okay, this is ticking for bleeding, this is ticking for, um, poison or whatever. I do like
Yeah.
that aspect of it.
And
Mhm.
even on my thief, it's really useful because I'm just like, oh hey, that crappy tick is actually my poison. It's not my bleeds being bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it'll help us when the think tanks are theory crafting to actually see those numbers a little bit better. So it's visually nice. I like it, but there was still something satisfying about seeing all those like rainbow of numbers all over the screen.
Well, you
But
can
this
still
works.
see that if you want to.
Yeah, you can turn the option on. So all right, so necromancers. So they got a buff to the minion health. So that was good. I think.
Are they?
Well, it's the same buff they gave Mesmer clones way back in the day. It's just a matter of time before they give it to all minions. Which
Yes,
I'm
please.
wondering if it actually is all minions, because if it is all minions, that would include all the like golems for Sora, the random animals that are summoned by whatever, the Charbros,
Yeah, the
Thieves
Savari have
Guild.
wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that affects all of those as well, because if it does, that's amazing.
Yes and no, maybe. Because apparently, though, the minions are still dumb as rocks.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's AI.
That's kind of been a problem forever with the game. Is that minion
That's
AI
a
is
problem
just
with
not.
every game.
I think, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the NG's turret, I think, is a good shift in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that they branch that out into other classes like the Mesmers and the Necromancers and the poor Rangers.
Well, I would say that Mesmers actually have some of the best minions as far as their AI.
I think it's also
Because
the
it's very
simplest
set in
too.
stone what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're basically going to attack exactly what you're attacking, and that's
they're going to attack the target that you summon
that
them
you cast it on. Yeah.
So if you're like tab targeting and put a clone on this thing, clone on that thing, clone on that thing, they're going to attack three different things. And they'll like stick to that target, and you know they're going to stay on that target, which is probably the best way to do it.
I think it really is.
For Mesmers goes, because it fits with them.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, say, Necromancer minions, I really think that they should work more like the turrets. I agree. Where, you know, if you're attacking this target, they're going to, like, jump on that target right then. They should just be an extension of the player rather than their own entity.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're getting there. So also with the Necromancer, they did buff the life siphon damage. Did Evee, when you jumped on your Ellie, or your Necro, did you notice a lot of difference in the damage of life siphon?
It's level 20. It's
so
really
hard to tell. Yeah.
I mean, that is the build that I actually want to do with him. And I might actually level my Necro now that's actually a thing. And I remember before launch looking at like the traits when they were finally, you know, released trait calculators and whatnot after betas, and theory crafting with some friends of mine is just like, oh, the best damage Necros are going to do is going to be with daggers and life siphon, and I was just like, we had it all figured out, and we got the dagger part right.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see how going forward they work with life siphons and dagger in particular, because in PvP, if they make life siphons too powerful, it can make Necros from the nuclear condition reactors to, oh my god, it's slashing my face and not dying.
Yeah, I mean, right now in PvP, I mean, when I want to go PvP, I hop on my Necro because they are just, for the hot join, it's just, you know, you just go in and you kill everything. You know, conditions all over the place, and you just stand on the point and go to town.
Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of conditions.
I like
so I haven't really touched PvP since the whole nuclear reactor thing. I've dabbled a little bit with my thief just to like stay in the know. But I until the meta changes, I can't see myself getting back into it because it's boring to me. It's like
Can Can I ask real quick? I don't know how this works. How do you does Life Siphon scale off power or healing power or anything, or
Both.
how does that work? Both?
Hey guys! We're talking about Necros, and I'm sitting here, and I'm playing Necro main, and so I'm just going to click my volume on and say hello. So how are you guys in chat doing? Anyway, so Necro mains, the minions have a buff, they're still dumb as rocks as we talked about. The Life Siphon scales with power for damage, and it scales with healing power for the heal. And they actually buffed both of those scales so that your actual max damage and healing is bigger than it was previously, but then they reduced some of the base buffs. So there we go. I'm going to go back into my cave now.
All right, thanks for joining us, Eric. Yeah, it's they're just Necros are still they're just they are a very fun class to play. There's no doubt. And if you like lots of numbers, I mean, you got so many different options with the minions or conditions or.
It's funny because Necros actually have the most build diversity in the game right now.
Right.
Who would have thunk?
Yeah, exactly. Because you want a condition build, go for it. You want a power build, go for it. You want a minion build, okay, we can do that too. Whereas everyone else is like, okay, here's damage, and there you go.
Well, it's like even in PvE, with like the elitist, oh, the more damage you have, the better you are. Necros have 3 different specs.
Yeah.
Everyone else only has 1.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and
Necros are also the only
ones
ones that can do it at 600 range. Everyone else has to be in melee.
Yeah.
This is like,
all right. Well, yeah, necromancers, gotta love them.
OP.
OP. Yeah. In PvP, without a doubt, overpowered beyond a shadow of a doubt. What about Guardian? Apparently, Healing Breeze got a huge buff.
Yeah, they raised it. It's like a 40% base heal on your allies now.
Nice.
So that raises it to be
Wow.
a viable heal. I never touched it before on my Guardian. Guardian may be my second most played profession. I also have 2 of those. But yeah, I'd never considered it between the block and the crazy heal 90% of my health heal signet. Yeah, I never looked at Healing Breeze. Now I will, because one of my Guardians is Spect Clerics. And
Yeah.
to be able to put that kind of healing on my group will be great, because they fixed Pure Voice. Now only removes 1 condition. It was broken to remove 2.
Aww.
It's still a really strong trait. It's still going to stay on my bar. I love Pure Voice. I run Shouts and Cleric Scare, and it's wonderful, but I'm a little bit sad about it getting fixed.
Kind of still on topic, but going off a little bit. It seems that in this patch, they're kind of pointing at healing power not being as useless as it usually was before, because scaling for healing power, most skills, was absolutely horrible. I mean, 20%
Awful.
healing power, that's just like, why have healing power? And now it's just like, oh, it might be beneficial to actually have it. And I mean, you see that with the Guardian, the Necro, the Elementalist, which, oh my god, the staff changes, but talk about that later. And it's just like, it seems like they're actually making an effort into making support builds more of a thing, quote, quote. And it leaves my hopes up, at least, that they'll also consider making control more important.
That look. Yeah, well, and they mentioned this on the developer stream yesterday, that they wanted to take slow steps. They didn't just want to radically change everything for fear of, oh, look, we've completely broken the game by making something overpowered. So I think they are moving in the right direction, and I think the changes that we're seeing with all the support this time around are steps in the right direction. Anything else on the Guardians? I don't play one, so
Glacial Heart. Oh my god, Glacial Heart.
What does that one do? I'm not familiar with that, right?
It used to apply chill on a crit with a hammer to one target. Now it does it in an AoE.
Oh,
That is huge for
that is a good thing.
PvP. Huge. Like, bunkers were a thing for a while, and like bunker busters were starting to pop up, or well, not were, are starting to pop up with Guardians. And this Glacial Heart thing will probably just like make Hammer the Guardian PvP weapon, or at least one of them. This is like, wow.
Sweet. Well, it'll be
Oh,
fun
the
to get in there
other-
and try killing him.
There actually was one more thing. Or at least I think there was. Did they add that trait in? I don't see it here on this list. The one that does adds fury. Did that go in?
Let me
Pulling up the patch
Hey.
notes.
double it. Oh, focus mind. This trait now grants fury when using a meditation.
Yes.
And all
Okay.
meditations
Guardians
are
didn't
instant
have.
now at base.
Yeah, Guardians didn't have access to fury before, and I'm working on building my second Guardian as a DPS Guardian, and I'm looking forward to that.
Well, even like I still don't think even now that DPS Guardians are going to take that because of the trait line that it's in.
Oh, is it hidden somewhere weird?
I think so. Don't quote me on that. I'm not that familiar with Guardians, but they're, as far as Greatsword and Sword and Hammer DPS builds go.
Oh no.
The
If you want to
points-
go, hardcore DPS and Guardian, sword focus, and go into the crit line.
But I mean, I said sword.
You said greatsword
I
and
said
hammer.
Greatsword, Sword, and Hammer.
Fine, you said sword twice. I got confused.
Have all the swords, just all of them.
Sword,
But
sword.
like the traits have been pretty set in stone for a really long time, and I wonder if that trait alone will shift the point, if it's not already in the like within the point allocation. If it is already, then the people are just gonna be like, okay, here we go, boom. If it isn't, there's gonna be some theory crafting going on there, and I should probably look at it because I'm a theory crafter at heart. Even
Well,
though I hate math. That work.
Yeah, that's why I chose the degree I did, because no math.
I'm dyscalculic or whatever. I have dyscalculia. So, like the auction house, when I go into that, is just like numbers.
That
Like,
has to be terrifying.
This number is higher than that number, so it must be good, right?
well, it's not quite like that. It's more like numbers just switch. It's just like.
Good times. Well, what about warriors? Because, oh my gosh, they got a massive. Why are they still buffing warriors?
Me every patch.
God. What's going on?
For warriors with condition removal. It's just like, oh, hey, we hear that warriors in World v. World are pretty much a staple. Let's lock that in place, shall we?
Jiminy Christmas. It was, and then with the buff to shouts, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, can we just, at this point, just reset the game and make everyone roll warriors and we'll just go with that? I mean,
Yep.
I'm-
I'm sold.
I can understand why they did it from a tournament, like that type of gameplay standpoint.
Yes.
Because warriors were desperately needing to have their spot, and they were kind of delving into different areas with this. They're just like, oh hey, we can be just as good as a guardian with a condition removal and whatnot. So it's going to give them a spot that they can actually go into. So for that, I commend them for it, because this is going to give them that spot. But as far as World v. World, this is going to make them absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those. I mean, warriors and you okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone would argue the fact that warriors are probably the best balanced class in the entire game, which I think is also the reason we see a bajillion of them everywhere. I mean, honestly, doesn't have a warrior.
I would actually say it's elementalist.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute.
As of this patch?
As of this patch.
As of patch.
Yes, as of this patch. Before this, but yeah, I mean, we have written in our notes here, warriors basically continue to be warriors. Enough said.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those Ellies. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the buff to the staff. Oh, that was
You
so
should not pass.
Can
that
you,
is-
okay.
yeah.
Tell me about the Ellie staff buff. Like, I only use my Ellie for farming because that's what my Ellie gets used for.
Well, and that's basically it. I mean, because of the massive amount of AoE you can do, you're able to target and where to tag all the things, and that gives you credit, which means you get more experience, which means you get more loot, which means on and on and on. But there was a lot of weird things, like, okay, so I've got the skill on the staff, Earth 4, which does us cripple. Okay, that's great, but the enemy is still going to get to me. So you had to be pretty mobile. I mean, you were always moving. I mean, it's not like a guardian or warrior or where you can have those chances of stopping and okay, I can take a couple hits. If you were an elementalist before this patch, you did not ever stop moving if you wanted to live, because lowest health pool in the game and some
Thief has the lowest health pool.
at base.
Yes.
Really? Is it? I thought Thief and Ellie were on par.
I have to go back and look. Okay, so we're on.
Is
So
1
it's
point lower
one
than
of. Oh, okay. So you have one more point than us.
one less point.
One really? Huh. I did not know that.
It's
Look at
made
that.
up for made up for by medium armor, but yeah.
Well, for whatever that's worth. But now, I mean, so basically on staff 4, instead of it being Earth 4, excuse me, a cripple, it's now like line of warding for Guardians, which means it's a hard stop. So instead of them actually running and just getting crippled, now it's a complete shutdown. You cannot get through this while the spell is active. Thank you, ArenaNet.
Does it still works with the trait that ups the AoEs on staff, right?
I don't think that was ever affected.
Oh, really?
So, sorry. But that was the other thing that was, we actually do, because we got hard numbers this time around, we can actually see what's being affected by blasting staff and what's not. I'm a little bit sad that they reduced the Water 5 range, because you would cast that and basically heal the entire map before. It's a little bit smaller now, but they kind of made up for that, I think, with Geyser, because Geyser now is it's about 50% bigger, which is fantastic.
Yes,
Is it
that
just
was
like
my biggest
humongous
frustration.
now because it's so much bigger?
It's not as big as Rain, but it's definitely a lot bigger.
I'm like the geyser. Did they scale up the width of the actual geyser too to match it? So it's just like.
I hope so. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I was playing in the labyrinth, and there were about 400 people in there, so I couldn't really see what was going on. But yeah, it's so fantastic.
That's great. That was my biggest frustration as trying to play a staff Ellie in a group. Instead of just farming by myself, I would go, okay, I'm going to heal you, and I would put like a little drop of water on the ground, and everyone would run around it, and I was like, no, stop, I'm healing you.
Yeah, yeah. That little bit of extra size on it, definitely, it's hitting people now. It's not quite as kitschy. I don't whatever the proper word would be, but it's so nice. It's so much better.
And as a thief, I can say it's a lot easier to use a blast finisher in the geyser now.
Yeah.
Is it still subpar to the ranger heal?
Well, yeah, but that's because the ranger heal lasts so long. Which
yeah,
they
it's a
nerfed,
15-second up.
but-
No.
but
That was
it's
the only
still
skill
the
I liked on
longest
my
one.
ranger.
The only skill that you liked on your ranger? The only one?
I leveled a ranger begrudgingly.
The screen froze, and that is the best case ever.
Yeah.
That was just perfect. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I leveled my ranger begrudgingly. I named my ranger That's Preposterous while I was leveling her. And
Well,
I went around and I ran joke builds. I my in-game handle is always spirit. So I had a spirit posse with the 4 spirits running around after me, and I named my pet Spirit, and we were the spirit posse. And that's how I leveled my ranger.
yeah. One last thing on the LE, then we'll move on to Rangers. They basically just normalized and clarified all of the AoE stuff. So things actually make a lot more sense and are a lot more useful. Whether or not support builds are going to be the way you roll your LE now, at least it's nice to have the option.
I can see a lot more people using a staff just because it's the quality of life fixes they've made
is.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love Staff, beyond a shadow of doubt. It's my favorite LE weapon, but I roll Dagger just because of the damage output.
Well,
So it'll be...
going for damage, Scepter Dagger wouldn't be better, right?
Well, yes, it is, but it's also a little bit more bursty. So if you want that sustained DPS, you go with the Dagger. Or you do what a lot of Dagger LEs do is they run Dagger, then use Conjured Weapons.
Lightning Hammers. Speaking of Conjured Weapons, they fixed the bug, and Earth Shield is amazing now.
I haven't used it yet. Did you get a chance to play with it?
I'm not a fan of Conjured Weapons, which is why I don't play
They're a lot of fun, though.
Engineer. I mean, it's nice to pick one up every now and then. Someone dropped an Earth Shield, and I picked it up on my Thief, and I was able to tank on my Thief the horror in the labyrinth, and I was just
wow.
What? Why am I not dead?
You said thief and tank in the same sentence. The whole world's been turned upside down.
Yeah, they are just... Exactly. I mean, if you like Conjured Weapons, which I personally do, and they're a good change for those of us that have been playing a long time. So running with Lightning Hammer is just absolutely fantastic. The fact that the 2 skill does a AoE, it hits 3 targets now instead of just the original target. So it's good, extra DPS there. I don't know why it didn't need more DPS, but...
Well, the thing is, the Lightning Hammer rotation for maximum DPS was basically auto swing everything.
Exactly, it was 1.
They made all the other skills just a little bit better to be like, oh hey, there's these other buttons. What? Can hit those too.
No, I don't have any other buttons. I have a range closer and number 1, and that's all I have. Yeah. So LE weapons, fantastic. Let's talk about Rangers real quick. So, other than pets getting a health buff, was there anything else significant for Rangers?
They've buffed a whole bunch of pet skills. The most noticeable one to me was the Fernhound heal. Actually does a heal to the Ranger when you activate it, no matter what range, on top of what the skill you used to do with the regeneration, and it's a sizable heal.
Yeah, it's 1,000 at base, and it goes up to 1,350 base when traded with Compassion training. That's pretty good.
And I mean, that's a thing.
So we're gonna see Fernhounds a lot more now than. But what is it? It's always brown bears and brown bears. I never see Rangers with anything else. Unless you're Shungaku, and then you run around with Morello to troll me.
Or me. Chocoboko for life.
I have a Black Widow named Cuddles. That's what I run around with.
Yeah, I use the Black Widow on my Ranger. The little bit that I actually play him.
Other than that, the only real thing I know is that they changed... Well, they didn't change it. They added a thing to Sikkim.
Oh, yeah.
The pet count. That now it puts revealed on your target for 4 seconds. Which I can understand why they would want to make revealed a thing that other people can apply to others, but I have to say that that's the most annoying thing to me as someone that used to play another game that had pets in it as a stealth person, and those
Yeah.
pets used to chase me even after activating stealth. I am getting horrible nightmares of just cats and bears chasing me, even though I should be invisible.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was a good change, though. I mean, it definitely, especially for PvP. I mean, because of all the stealth that Ellie's don't get stealth, that the thieves can do in PvP. I think
Well,
that's going to change the meta a little bit. I think.
and not really, because thieves don't really. Well, in like high level tournament play,
Yeah.
thieves aren't really relying on stealth anymore. They're using tons of evades and whatnot.
Oh, really?
The the big thing with this, I would say, is it's going to make mesmers think about revealed now as a possibility if they're running anything that gives them stealth. I mean, it's kind of a niche thing with mesmers as it is,
Yeah.
but if they are running it, that's actually a way to counter them.
I would say where we're going to see it is as a counter skill in World versus World.
Yeah.
Thieves and Rangers tend to be your solo roamers, and when they go 1v1, that's going to be a viable counter to Thieves. They're not just going to run circles around them anymore.
You can't hit me. You can't hit me. Yeah.
Backstab, backstab.
Oh, that is one thing I do not like about hot join PvP. It's pretty much backstab, 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 backstab. Oh, look,
See,
I am dead.
I'm that person that's just like, you know what? I'm going to infuriate people by not being a backstab thief. So I run pistol dagger. So I
Nice.
still stealth a lot.
Yes.
But I do it from 500 yards away. And people just
Yeah.
I walk up to them stealth, dodge away, and then I pop out with 6 stacks of bleed. But I'm at range and they're just like, why are you doing this? I won't kill you, but I will annoy the crap out of you.
It's good times. So bring those condition cleanse, kids. Yeah.
I mean, one condition cleanse is all you really need for a condition thief, because all they do is bleed, which is probably the biggest weakness that build has. I mean, with the torment now, it's kind of well, you can kind of, but still, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Other than that, back to Ranger.
Yes, yes.
They buffed Greatsword again.
Why?
Just why?
So maybe we just don't understand the game. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I can understand why they did it, because they don't want to buff the auto attack, because then that'll just make Greatsword sword where people are just auto attacking with it. And the auto attack for the Greatsword is really powerful because the last attack in the chain is a full evade. It's better than like any other evade as far as like with an attack goes in the game. So they're stacking it on Maul, and Maul has become like this really, really bursty skill.
Yeah.
I got on my Rangers just to see just how crazy it is, and I mauled something 3 levels over me and killed it.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like,
So basically, what they did to Maul was, I mean, it's a 7% increase in damage, and then the vulnerability goes from 3 stacks to 5 stacks, and the duration has gone up from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. I mean,
but you really don't need the
fighting a great sword.
vulnerability, because you'll kill it before it does.
before the
Unless-
the vulnerability wears off.
Although, does the vulnerability you put on it affect the actual attack itself?
I don't think so. I think it's applied after.
That's what I would have figured. I was just wondering if I was wrong.
That would be OP. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, they also did slightly nerf Healing Spring.
Yeah.
So
Well,
It's a
not
buff
necessarily.
and a nerf.
yeah, it's kind of weird because I mean they lowered the duration to 10 seconds, but it pulses 2 times instead of 3.
Well, that's not the big nerf, though. The big nerf is with Vigorous Renewal. It used to apply Vigor with every pulse of Healing Spring. Now it only does it with the initial cast. So it's a lot less Vigor. It's like, I mean, it was a much needed nerf, yes.
Yeah.
But it's still just like,
Is it enough to make people move towards the other heals, though?
no.
See, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
No way.
I'm not
Because
sure.
even people that didn't have that trait were using Healing Spring.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even on my level, 22 or whatever it is, I use Healing Spring because.
I mean, occasionally you might see someone using Troll Unguent, excuse me. But, I mean, everyone goes to Healing Spring because it has a high base heal just when you cast it.
Yeah.
It has the water field that lasts before 15 seconds, which was ridiculous. Now it lasts 10, which is still amazing.
Yeah.
It has the regen, and it gave tons of vigor if you had that trait. Now, if you have the trait, it works just like any other heal skill, but it's still a better heal than the other ones just at base.
Then heal is one. Lol. Yeah. All right. Anything else with Rangers? I mean, man, there's a ton of pet buffs.
I mean, it's just across the board. They buffed pretty much every pet.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to use something other than bears and cats.
Is anybody going to use anything besides a bear and a cat still?
Actually,
You
don't
might see some
use-
And now,
hounds.
yeah, now Fern Wolf. That'd be about it.
Yeah.
All right. Engineers. A couple of things for them. We talked a little bit about it before, where the turrets are now going to attack whatever it is that you're attacking. Yay. Bless you. And again. That's fantastic. Instead of just random, okay, I'm going to put this down and it's going to do whatever the heck it's going to do. At least now it'll take time to turn and reacquire a new target, but at least it will be on your target.
Mhm.
Yay.
Which is how all minions should work.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they also did something with potions, and they made them not so RNG heavy. Yay?
Well,
How did
yeah,
they-
for a theory crafting / competitive standpoint.
Mhm.
Though the thief in me is just like party stealth. Why do they no.
Yeah. That's what I said when they gave them condition damage too, or confusion, excuse me, from Mesmers.
Well,
Like-
thing is, confusion I actually think needs to be spread out even more than it is now.
Give it to Necros. Hey.
Yes. Actually, yes. Confusion, I mean, Guild Wars 1, Spiteful Spirit was a thing.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I am all for giving Mesmers a new condition, and I've suggested it before. So, not on the show, of course, but
Yeah. Tawa says that the next class to get stealth is going to be the warrior. Because why
and they're
not?
going to actually have stealth attacks too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're going to be able to attack from stealth while staying stealthed.
When
why
warriors
not?
get stealth, I'm leaving. I'm out. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace out, suckers.
Goodbye, friends. I'm gone.
And they're going to put it on the rifle.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the gunpowder. That makes sense. There we go. But yeah, so NG potions. So a lot less RNG heavy. You'll actually get the thing that you want. So if you want stability, you'll be able to get stability. Hey, imagine that. I kind of like this change. I would have been happier if they had made, okay, you can get maybe one of two boons. But I understand why they made the change that they did.
It's the same problem that Steel had when they first announced the Thief, with like the whole random aspect of it. People were just like,
Yeah, no.
They're trying to push for more of a competitive standpoint for both tournament play and World v World, with now the seasons coming out, and RNG on skills like that it does not mix with competitive play, not at that level of
No.
RNG. With crits and things like that, yeah, sure, but with like how the actual skill just works, no.
So do you
Did
think
they-
this could have? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did they take there was that skill that did it either blocked a projectile or reflected one. Did they take that one out? Do you know? I didn't read the patch notes for that. I don't expect you guys to read them too because it was like a novel. But
On this
I
weekend.
enjoyed that one as a as an elixir skill
On the
because
shield?
or no, it was a utility or yeah, it would either do the Guardian's
Oh.
reflecting wall or absorb a projectile. And I thought that was a really good example of how you could use randomness to, to a good effect, where it's always going to stop the projectile from hitting you.
Right.
But then you have the added bonus of I get this condition field or this condition field, and I can react to it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great. I don't know if that's gone now, but I would be sad
It
to see
doesn't
that one
look
go.
like they changed any other elixirs, so I'd assume it's still the same as was before.
Cool.
And you're right, that is actually a good way to do
Yeah.
an RNG kind of aspect to a skill because the functionality is still the same, but it just works just a tiny bit differently.
Yeah. So we'll see. Any other classes? I think we got them all, didn't we?
We didn't talk Mesmer,
Mesmer.
Yeah.
Oh, so does someone want to share the absolute most fantastical bug in the most latest fantastical bugs to ever happen in the game?
Picture this, if you will. In World v. World, there's this trait that reduces fall damage, and it also creates Chaos Storm when you take fall damage. Now, they've already fixed it, either fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view in life, that would transfer any fall damage your allies took within this Chaos Storm to any enemies within this Chaos Storm. So, people were falling from great heights and sacrificing themselves for the greater good to destroy their enemies' armies for approximately 60k damage.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing. I really want this to be.
Wonderful thing.
I know it's like a bug, but I want this to be a skill. I want it to be a strategy to like jump off and destroy everything underneath you. I
Like,
think of it.
I
You
may
could
go
run-
out, but I'm taking you with me.
and you could do it strategically. You could have Mesmer's portal to high places and just drop people off repeatedly and just nuke other teams. I'm sold. Add that in. I'm playing World v World by PvE.
I
Just jump
can almost
people.
safely say that the reason why they fixed it so quickly was because it destroyed Siege.
Even better. Even better. Oh my
Dead
god.
Mesmer, best weapon.
There have been times that's not far from the truth, but yeah.
There was
Best
an
luck
attack on
ever.
Stone
Oh my
Mist,
God.
and the people that were attacking like the doors and whatnot with their siege was destroyed by a few Mesmers jumping off the walls.
I mean, it would, if they actually were to make that a thing, it would make some interesting strategies. But yeah, they fixed it. Sorry.
They should do they should make it a thing. But if you die, the damage doesn't go out, so you have to time your jump strategically so you don't die.
Oh, that'd
Yes,
be fun.
good.
There we go.
I would like to see them do a thing where like the fall damage you take gets spread out evenly among all your enemies that are within the AoE. So if there's one person, you're pretty much going to kill that one person. But if there's like 50 people, you're going to spread all that damage among
500 for everybody.
It's just like there's like this huge mob of 200 people, and one mesmer just dies on top of them, and they all take like 1,000 damage, and they're just like, "What the hell was that?"
I like this comment in chat. They need to have mesmers being launched from catapults now,
Treb, best
but only Asura mesmers.
Norn mesmers should do more damage. More impact.
The best bug since sit jump or
Oh, I love
plane.
sit
Or
jump.
plane.
I
Yeah.
forgot it was the thing. I was looking through my screenshots the other day, and I have this people just levitating in Heart of the Mist. I miss that bug so much.
Good times. Good times.
Other than the wonderful bug that was Descent into Madness, they buffed Scepter, so they reduced the cooldowns on it, which it. I am a huge fan of Scepter as a defensive weapon in PvP, so I'm really happy to see this because it lets people block more, apply more confusion consistently, and apply torment more consistently. So that's a huge boon. They buffed mantras.
Yeah, it's kind of
Both.
a strange buff.
Well,
They-
long time ago, when people were just like, "Oh, hey, support skills or
Well-
support builds might actually be a thing."
Yeah.
Mantra Medic was a huge had a huge following, and with if they start scaling healing power and all this whatnot, this would make Mantra Medics a serious thing whenever support is blah blah blah. I am I robot-y? Because
You're good now.
You're good now. Yeah.
okay, sorry. Where was I? Oh, because Mantra Medics.
Montramatic.
Being able to take conditions off your allies and whatnot. I mean, again, with the defensive boons that they gave to, not boons, defensive buffs they gave to the Scepter, in competitive play, you might actually see a bunker mesmer.
Yeah, because
That
they
could
can.
be a thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's a quality of life change for underwater mantras where they're the same cast time as on land.
Yeah, that was fun.
Why weren't they?
Oh, and they fixed Arcane Duelist.
What was wrong with them?
Their projectiles had a 100% chance to be projectile finishers. So if they went through, say, a fire field, it would apply burn with every single bullet in the unload.
I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't either, but it was actually kind of OP in PvP with, say, life steals. Because in PvP, killing phantasms is actually a legitimate strategy against mesmers. And if you had, say, a necromancer that had the
Because who doesn't?
yeah, that had the correct field down, your duelists would just stay alive because they lifesteal constantly, and they do more damage with the lifesteal. So it's just like, "Argh." So I can see why they did that, and really it's a fix because the true unload, which is on a thief, is 20% per projectile. So that's the thing.
All right. I guess I can live with that. Cool. I guess that wraps up all the changes. I mean, definitely if you have several hours of your life do you want to waste, go read the massive patch notes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we do want to point out one thing for those of you that are for angry mesmers. For those of you on the Northern Shiver Peak server, I'm sorry to inform you that you have made it into the silver tier. Sorry, guys. That is kind of an interesting thing to consider, though. Is I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there was a lot of sandbagging going on from the top tier servers.
I didn't. I haven't paid attention.
I'm not familiar with the term.
Playing exceedingly poorly so that you're bumped into a lower tier bracket.
Okay. Dwarfing is how I know it. Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know how I feel about that. I almost feel like they should have just gone smurfing. Okay, smurfing. I almost feel like they should have gone off of any previous results and then built brackets off of that. Maybe. Or done a hard reset and given like 1 month to bring everything back to normalization. I don't know. But, sorry, Northern Shiver Peaks, you got bumped into the silver tier. Wah, wah.
Well,
I don't
Is
World v
that
Worlds.
already in effect? Because as far as I know, the season doesn't start until Friday.
I
Yeah,
think by
no.
now the tiers are determined, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, is the matchup a
Where can you
silver
find a
matchup right
list
now?
of who's and where?
Um,
I'm
to the
Googling.
Googles.
Yeah.
Well, while Kate's looking at that,
Bloodlust.
huh? What?
It's getting
Bloodlust
nerfed.
change.
Yeah, do you want to talk
Explain.
about that? Because I can't
Yeah.
remember, besides that it's getting nerfed.
Okay, Bloodlust used to provide a sustainable buff to people that actually were holding it. Now, at one stack, it will give 30 to power, precision, toughness, vitality, and healing power, and condition damage, as well as one war score per player killed with a finisher. Key point finisher. You can't just like do damage to kill him, which is how it was never, but whatever. At two stacks, it'll give 50, and at three, it'll give 60. That is a considerable nerf to how much stats it'll give. The big thing here is I really think that people aren't going to want the buff for, well, obviously the stats are nice, but the war score per player killed with finishers might actually make it so that people can use it to tip like a big fight in their favor if they start using finishers. I don't know how big finishers are in World, but I'd assume that most people don't use them because of AoE.
Yeah.
That might actually see roaming becoming a little bit more profitable toward war score. So that's interesting. Just seeing. I mean, theory crafting, I know very little about Woolly World because I don't really partake because it's not my cup of tea. But from a conceptual standpoint, it's really interesting to me to see, like, oh, that might actually change things. Or it might not because I mean, ultimately it's 1 point. So
Yeah.
still, it's good to see that they were willing to change it because Orbs 2.0 were not working from what I saw from the community, at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Other than that, the boosters are no longer affect the consumable items you get for World v World XP. We knew that was coming, just like Karma. And they buffed the rewards for rank up chests.
Yay.
I've never gotten a rank up chest, so
Yeah, I haven't either. So
I'm trying to remember what they had in them. I'm like level 10 in my Mesmer. I think they had just badges of armor and badges of armor, yes.
Honor.
Badges of honor, even. And, 2 blues and a green.
well, yeah, of course.
And that's what's in the box. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done it. I've just been really away from World versus World ever since the ranks are so set in stone and involved for more than one character. But update on the list, there isn't actually an official list right now. Shunkaku is going off the rankings, and the way it is right now, we would fall into the bottom tier of silver. But there isn't an extra list, so don't go looking for it because there isn't one.
Yet.
Soon.
Yeah, soon, TM. So, but going along with the World v World things, ArenaNet did come out and has some good news for the people that are interested in Guild versus Guild, and making that back into a thing. So what they're
semi thing.
Yeah, at this point it's only a semi thing because what they're basically going to do is they're going to provide a large space in the Obsidian Sanctum where people can basically kind of self-manage their own matches. They did say though that they are going to work towards when they have more resources available to actually trying to get some kind of Guild versus Guild thing into the game. Given the fact that it is Guild Wars, I mean, go figure. But
Speaking of GVG, and I mean, if someone happens to watch this, just pass this down the suggestion line. Just take the map with the 2 keep lords or whatever for competitive PvP, make it 8v8, like in a custom arena where you can make it so, and put a flag in the middle.
Yep.
Disable the capture points. It's
Done.
not GVG, but it's pretty close. And just make it where you only get points for killing people, or if you kill the Keep Lord, you win.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard, but I know they're really, really protective of the structured PvP system right now.
Mhm.
So,
Well, they've already said that they're willing to look at other game
Oh,
type
yeah.
modes, and having a capture the flag type with a Keep Lord would essentially be, I mean, not it's not the same as GVG, but it would be a decent evolution of it as far as the game type is concerned.
yeah.
Now, as functionality for guild versus guild, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing with that is going to be the fact that you're able to guild hop so easily. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, even in Guild Wars 1, you could guess to other guilds and compete with them.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't see that as a legitimate reason for not having GVG, because at the end of the day, you still have to become a member to actually GVG,
Yeah.
and it's not like even before people couldn't just join a guild and start, GVGing with them and then leave whenever they wanted. So it's just like, eh.
right. But as far as like guild rankings and things like that goes, I mean, you could have. Well, we're gonna all be part of the same guild. You guys are in the guild A this week, and you're in guild B, and we're just gonna so guild B is gonna all lose. We're gonna bump up our rankings, and then guild. I mean, there's just I can see a lot of potential for abuse.
Well,
But that's kind of like anything else, I guess, in the game.
in Guild Wars 1, there were actually guilds that would smurf,
Oh yeah,
where they would like make a new guild to kind of reset their matchmaking rating.
yeah,
But the thing is, even once they smurfed, once they started winning a lot, their matchmaking rating would just rise up again,
yeah.
and then they'd either have to do it again or they'd have to get better. And
What? Get good at the game?
right,
Crazy talk.
the thing with that was you would lose progression of your guild hall if everyone in your guild went over, which obviously they didn't do that. But obviously you'd have this empty guild hall. You'd have to buy a guild hall in the first place because those things weren't cheap.
Oh no.
At least, back in the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're
And-
like 8 platinum now.
Yeah, Celestial Sigil was how I made my money in prophecies and factions. Well, not and factions, but basically all through prophecies. If I had any amount of cash on me, it was because of Celestial Sigils that we had sold.
Yeah.
And we would split the money amongst the 8 people. Granted, that wasn't GVG, that was getting into GVG from Hall of Heroes.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that was the thing.
Back in the day.
But back to wow, you just confused the crap out of me.
You confused the crap out of you. You were the one who was talking.
Yes.
Back to the whole like people abusing, oh hey, we can all be in this guild and this guild and just swap over. This will be the losing guild. Eventually, if they have matchmaking system set up right, that guild A that's constantly winning will never get matched up with guild B
Yeah.
unless they start winning as well. So this is like,
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think the fact that they are thinking about it is a good trend in the right direction. I know a lot of people are crying out for some form of larger competitive, something not World v World. So, again, when they have the resources, they're at least thinking about what they want to start doing.
yeah, someone quote pointed out in chat that they were expecting ranked PvP to become like GVG, where guilds would put the teams under their name. The thing with that is, GVG was a very set game type, and it covered not only many different roles, but it had generally big teams for a PvP match. of a competitive nature in, this type of game in general.
Yeah.
5 people it's kind of a go-to thing number. 8, I mean, may not it's not that huge of a difference. It's only 3 people, but in the grand scheme of things, it makes you able to include much more people
Yeah.
into, just guild functions. And with, what is it called? The capture point game type, domination, is that what it's
Domination,
called?
basically.
Right. Domination. It's very set in stone what roles are and like who can do them, and this is the gameplay. With GVG, you would see new builds. I mean, at least when it first came out,
Yeah.
and for quite some time, not just like a few months, quite some time after GVG was kind of set, you'd see like new team builds pop up. You'd see more different runners, water LE runners, air runners, and just everything would shift and shift and shift, and you'd have to be able to adapt to the shifting meta constantly. And that doesn't exist in the current structured PvP. So it's just like, with the small team size and the static game type, it wasn't gonna happen. Especially when you add on top of it that there's no like thing mechanic tying guilds to it, like say the guild hall that you build.
Right.
This is just like whatever.
Exactly. Whatever. We'll see what they do. It would be nice to have, guilds be actually a little more something beyond just what they are right now. But Evie, along that, you wanted to talk about the fact that Chris Whiteside has been on a rampage in the forums lately.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He is on the I'm going to talk to everyone rampage. And okay. Did we talk about the forum backlash last week?
Yes.
I vaguely remember. Okay.
The post actually went up, I think, while we were doing the show, and so we kind of retconned it into the show, but that's about it.
So, let me pull this up. Because this thing has gotten to be very, very big. And he's just going back and forth with players over how they can make better suggestions, give more feedback for this collaborative development that they spoke about for 2 weeks now. And it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Very promising to see that not only has Chris Whiteside been interacting with the community in this way, but so has Josh Foreman, who was essentially the guy that started this all. And I really like the way that they've, just come forward and just like, all right, you want to work with us, let's figure out a way we can communicate. And the biggest, or at least when I was looking at it, the biggest thing was figuring out a way to poll the players. And they were just like, well, if we put it on the forums, not everyone's going to see it because, I mean, who really goes to the forums?
The people that want to complain.
Well, not essentially. I go to the forums because I like seeing the changes and a whole bunch of other things. I like keeping track of what the devs are saying. And then someone's just like, well, we can do it in game, but then it was just like, that's really intrusive to just the gameplay in general. And I may or may not have suggested, well, why don't you put it in the launcher? And even, it's a back and forth, and it's really nice to see just the interaction again.
Yeah, this just the openness and them saying, okay, we're here, we're listening, we're going to talk to you, and having Chris Whiteside as a face for this is a huge step forward for me, and for everyone, for the community. Just to have that I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I want it to develop into something great. I know it could not, and I think ultimately right now it falls on the players to not abuse this. We have a window. We have to provide good feedback. We have to be reasonable about it. Yeah, yeah. So go out and interact with the
abuse the
devs, but be
developers.
nice. Yeah,
Please.
don't. Well, do you want to
Well-
talk about Evee, like the feedback they or go ahead, whoever.
Well, they basically, I mean, this is kind of getting back to where ArenaNet started because in beta, they were extremely communicative. And after launch, I don't know what shifted, but they pretty well shut down for the majority of their interaction with the community. That being said, I think this is a return to those, glory days of community interaction, and it's really upon us as a community not to screw it up and force them back into their shell. So, how about some tips on how to successfully interact with the development staff?
In the famous words of a certain Star Trek actor, don't be a beep.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Be clear, be concise, be reasonable. Oh my gosh. Don't fly off the handle at them. Don't.
And whatever you do, do not say, well, the players want. No, you're not the players. You're a player.
Exactly.
So just.
Yeah. Don't ever call a dev out by name. If you want to feature,
never.
like, don't ever attack anyone. Like that, they're human beings too. Don't ever go after anyone specifically.
Unless you're praising them.
Yeah.
Yeah, then go right ahead.
For me, gaining support for your ideas from other players, be concise and format your posts so it's accessible to me, because I don't want to sit there and go through 47 pages that you wrote out meticulously about Mesmer Scepter and where it should go. If you want that kind of support from me, I mean, it's great that you do that, but hide it in a spoiler or something, so and include TLDRs so that I can. It's accessible for other people.
And format, please format. One huge paragraph. People just go like, nope.
Yeah, and another thing is the devs do not want to hear how easy it is to implement an idea. For all your genius, you don't necessarily know how they have their systems in place. So
Guild Wars
something
runs on a unique engine, people.
Something that may seem easy could take like 40,000 lines of code to implement. So, also post it in the appropriate area. Don't post it somewhere it shouldn't be because it'll never get seen or.
And if you don't know where it should go, ask.
Ask. Yeah, absolutely. Ask. Wide Char in the chat is saying that they do like to hear about it, and it gives them fun posts to share around the office. So good times. And above all else, to use the search feature. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. So someone may have already had your fantastical, wonderful idea, and maybe they've already written it out, and you can just throw support behind it. So use the search feature.
Unless you're Evee and you're trying to give ArenaNet an idea for a dancing minigame.
Dance Revolution, Guild Wars style.
I'm sold. Let's do it.
I'm down. And it's easy to implement, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
right?
Have that out tomorrow.
I mean, just make it like a bundle that you just click with the timings right. I mean, geez.
Oh, yeah. Good times. Good times. Well, is there anything else we want to talk about on the community side of things?
Pink Day is Saturday. So
We've been talking about it for months. It's finally this weekend. We're going to be hanging out on Northern Shiver Peaks. It's between noon and 6 p.m. Central Time. Come join us. We'll all be dyed pink. There will be festivities going on. There are so many giveaways. I have to really encourage you guys to go and donate, because if you donate, you get entered to win these prizes. And they have stuff like, they have the bandanas, they have Guild Wars t-shirts, they have a Razor Death Adder that they're giving away. Both the Scarlet not wristwatches, pocket watches. 2 unique Scarlet watches made to market Scarlet's like living story, her beginning. Only 2 in the world are being given away today.
I'm gonna do everything I can, short of selling my soul, to get one of those pocket watches.
Mm-hmm.
I know I won't, but I will do everything. I will beg. I will beg so much.
Oh, and if you can't donate, like if you don't have the money or whatever, they are going to be giving away prizes on air in game. So if that's not something you can do, still feel free to show up, come talk to everyone, come dance. It'll be a good time. You can still win stuff. That's my spiel.
Yeah, Pink Day. Fantastic cause. Do it. Okay. Well, I think... go ahead.
Just one more thing, Community Corner. Stay tuned, people, because November, there's going to be more charity events.
Yeah, we have a thing coming up. We can't talk about it a whole lot yet, but
it's going to be
They haven't even told
and it's going to be
me yet.
amazing.
it's still in its planning stages.
Yeah, Spirit and I have been working with other people and other companies and stuff, and this is going to be amazing. I'm very excited, even though I'm actually not getting anything out of it except for the enjoyment of it. But still, it's going to be a thing.
It's going to be a thing. Awesome. Well, I think that'll about wrap us up for this week. For those of you in chat, stick around. Shiganku wants to give away some of his fat loot. So we got a
And
little
by fat
contest.
loot, we mean gold.
We do mean gold. Yeah.
10 gold.
So stick around after the show. But thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun. Now we got to get back in and play some more Halloween.
Yay.
I need to finish the clock tower.
Yes, got to finish Clock Tower. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Evie. Thanks, Kate, for joining us. And we'll see y'all later.